Second song I'm going to perform is called Nyani Rongai. Nyani Rongai is one of the first songs I ever performed by myself on stage. It's one of my favorite songs, and a lot of people love it as well. And it's basically a song about, I was once working at some place along Magadi Road, Pandeza Rongai. And one day when I was working, I saw a monkey, ilikuwa imetoka from KWS, which is right next to Rongai. And then the monkey walked up to a lady, ambaye alikuwa amebeba paper bag. It was a while back, and she was carrying, it was a carrier bag with food inside, I think, food and some stuff. And then we watched, because it was a lot of people, we watched the monkey walk up to the lady, pulled down the paper bag, or carrier bag, and then it took out everything it needed. So I think it was some things are actually random, but ilichukua, and it walked away like a boss. And so because of this, I was impressed. I was just really shangaa. It was just interesting to see that monkey do that. And so nikaandika a song called Nyani Rongai. However, Nyani Rongai is a song I wrote over a long period of time. So the chorus was the first part I wrote of the song, and it's a very simple chorus. And so I'll sing the full song, alafu we can vibe with it. That's how, in Usinyang'anye pombe yangu, usinitie taxi, usijifanye baba yangu, mawaidha sitaki, usijifanye Dr. Love, uongo wa mapendo usipendi, ukitaka happy ending, kasikivio za mahakamani, usiogope nitachotwa, mini Nyani Rongai. If I say I'll be okay, I'll be okay. So don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Don't you worry about me, I'm alright. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Living in a house with a broken window. Eti mpenzi amekuacha, si wewe bado upo. Umekosa mkwanja, bidii ya kusaka bado ipo. Shatambua marafiki, kageuka wanafiki. Zabembeleza mpaka lini, kusonga mbele imebidi. Wakiogopa utachotwa, sema mini Nyani Rongai. If I say I'll be okay, I'll be okay. So don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Don't you worry about me, I'm alright. So don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Living in a house with a broken window. Brookhouse, thanks to another really big person in terms of my career, anaitwa Moses Watatua. He helped me get sponsorship, partial sponsorship, and also the director of the school was a really cool guy to me. And then that's why I worked. During the 2 years I was working, pia kuna time walikuwa na deduct kumalizia ile parts huko nimemalizia. But I was able, but it was sasa hiyo part ingine ile nilikuwa na kulipia was paid for by that time my mom analipia, and then I had to work and pay off the rest. That's in terms of finance, if about finance. So financially haijarudi exactly, like I haven't gotten return on investment because I've invested a lot. However, in terms of success, because I don't really measure success necessarily using finance with everything, zingine na measure using finance. But I feel there's a bit of success. Number one, in terms of, I feel like now having a band that I'm working with, to me, is successful. Like I feel very nice that niko na wase wale naza work with. Two, I feel nice that now I'm able to create a brand around myself. Did you come and mention, I used to go by the name Pato Njuguna for very many years. In fact, Aliye is a name that I picked up last year, 2021. So it's relatively new. So very few people wananijua kama Aliye. So a lot of people wananijua kama Pato Njuguna. And the reason I changed from Pato Njuguna to Aliye is because, as I mentioned to you a bit earlier, in 2020 is when I discovered myself as a musician, as a person and as a musician. So Jitu Bila Mipaka is an expression of what I found out in 2020 and 2021, is who I found out about myself. I realized that that I am, especially without God, just a beast. Because in 2020 I'd let myself nifanye anything nataka. And I realized that I'm just a beast, a borderless beast. Jitu Bila Mipaka, like I can do anything. I need to be controlled because nikijiachilia ama nikiachiliwa I'm just hivyo. But also nika realize that Pato Njuguna is not me as a musician. Mimi as a musician is someone completely different. So Pato Njuguna ni nani? So who am I without Pato Njuguna? And I wanted Pato Njuguna ibaki as my family name. Wala watu wananijua wananiita Pato. And as I was trying to discover myself is when, I can't remember when exactly it happened, but I realized the word Aliye, the word Aliye. And Aliye is a Swahili word that inamaanisha the one who is. Kwa wengine wanasema the one who was, but the one who is. And the reason for that is because a lot of times watu wananiuliza, every time tunaenda mahali mtu ananiuliza, oh, what kind of music do you do? What kind of artist are you? Okay, obviously a singer, but what kind of music? And the answer is the same. Whatever comes. If, for example, nataka kukuandikia a song about love, naturally it won't come kwangu kuandika gengeton track, sindio? Naturally it will come, and depending on what about love you're talking about. If, for example, that song nimefanya ito Zamzam Love, whatever style that is, it's just a ballad kwangu. If it's Ndani ya Rongai, it has to come out with attitude. I can't write Ndani ya Rongai as a ballad. Kama ni hiyo song ya kama uni amehini, because I wanted to have that Kenyan feel na nini, nikafanya chakacha. So basically, I'm even of Leniko, and even as a person, it's very difficult, even as a musician, to describe who I am. And so the one who is what came through. But what I've come to realize is that slowly by slowly, I start to understand more what the word Aliye means. Like I'm getting newer and newer revelations about what Aliye means, what I am Aliye means. Because its existence is just too grand to explain in one sentence or in one paragraph or in one interview. Brookhouse, thanks to another really big person in terms of my career, anaitwa Moses Watatua. He helped me get sponsorship, partial sponsorship, and also the director of the school was a really cool guy to me. And then that's why I worked. During the 2 years I was working, pia kuna time walikuwa na deduct kumalizia ile parts huko nimemalizia. But I was able, but it was self. Sasa hiyo part ingine ile nilikuwa na kulipia was paid for by that time my mom analipia, and then I had to work and pay off the rest. So financially haijarudi exactly, like I haven't gotten return on investment because I've invested a lot. However, in terms of success, because I don't really measure success necessarily using finance with everything, zingine na measure using finance, but I feel there's a bit of success. Number one, in terms of, I feel like now having a band that I'm working with, to me, is successful. Like I feel very nice that niko na wase wale naza work with. Two, I feel nice that now I'm able to create a brand around myself. Did kama nimemention, I used to go by the name Pato Njuguna for very many years. In fact, Aliye is a name that I picked up last year, 2021. So it's relatively new. So very few people wananijua kama Aliye. So a lot of people wananijua kama Pato Njuguna. And the reason I changed from Pato Njuguna to Aliye is because, as I mentioned to you a bit earlier, in 2020 is when I discovered myself as a musician, as a person and as a musician. So Jitu Bila Mipaka is an expression of what I found out in 2020 and 2021. I realized that that I am, especially without God, just a beast. Because in 2020 I'd let myself nifanye anything mimi nataka. And I realized that I'm just a beast, a borderless beast, mjutu bila mipaka, like I can do anything. I need to be controlled because nikijiachilia ama nikiachiliwa I'm just nini hivyo. But also nika realize that Pato Njuguna is not me as a musician. Mimi as a musician is someone completely different. So Pato Njuguna ni nani? So who am I without Pato Njuguna? And I wanted Pato Njuguna ibaki as my family name. Wala watu wananijua wananiita Pato. And as I was trying to discover myself is when, I can't remember when exactly it happened, but I realized the word Aliye, the word Aliye. And Aliye is a Swahili word that inamaanisha the one who is. Kwa ingine nasema the one who was, but the one who is. And the reason for that is because a lot of times watu wananiuliza, every time tunaenda mahali mtu ananiuliza, oh, what kind of music do you do? What kind of artist are you? Okay, obviously a singer, but what kind of music? And the answer is the same. Whatever comes. If, for example, nataka kukuandikia a song about love, naturally it won't come kwangu kuandika gengeton track, sindio? Naturally it will come, and depending on what about love you're talking about. If, for example, that song nimefanya it was Zamzam Love, whatever style that is, it's just a ballad kwangu. If it's Nyani ya Rongai, it has to come out with attitude. I can't write Nyani ya Rongai as a ballad. Kama ni hiyo song ya kama uni amehini, because I wanted to have that Kenyan feel na nini, nikafanya chakacha. So basically, I'm even of Leniko, and even as a person, it's very difficult even as a musician to describe who I am. And so the one who is what came through. But what I've come to realize is that slowly by slowly I start to understand more what the word Aliye means. Like I'm getting newer and newer revelations about what Aliye means, what I am Aliye means, because its existence is just too grand to explain in one sentence or in one paragraph. I can't remember how I joined Sauti Academy. I was still in Brookhouse. In fact, I was kicked out of Sauti Academy I joined there twice. The first time I was kicked out because we had to go for classes on Saturday and during the week. And during the week I was in Brookhouse. And Brookhouse was full time. So nilipojaribu kuongelesha coordinator wangu akaniambia, no, hell no, there's no way you're missing class to go for another class. And to be honest, well, Sauti Academy was really nice, but basically the same things we were learning at BTech ndio tulikuwa tunalana at Sauti Academy. But I really liked Sauti Academy because of the vibe as well. It was really nice. Natalie Lukenia, who started it, alianzisha kitu nzuri sana. In fact, all the people who've gone through Sauti, most of them at least, are really like, they have certain direction. Entertainment, yes, for sure. I feel like I've been a bit picky and a bit choosy. I've been evil, very picky and very choosy on the things I do. Because, again, as nasema, I want to create a certain identity, a certain brand around myself. But you can make a lot of money in music, provided haufikiri in one direction. Because when you're thinking in one direction, unafikira mimi nataka kuwa superstar, nataka kukua nini, nataka ku make money through grow brand yangu into a point that a lot of people will be coming for my gigs. You see, music is a business. Me nimefanya event inaitwa MTOT Village Edition, and we had it at a backyard kama tuseme hapa. We invited people to come over. It was low cost. We sold drinks and food to them. There was a performance. Tulikuwa na simple sound. We did the performance until maybe 10 p.m. We made our money. Now get, if you can do small nini events hivyo, and you could make a lot of money. Si lazima uko mkubwa, unaweza enda kwa restaurant to have, kama mimi zile restaurants sasa nimework nazo, ni I just walk into a restaurant, I have a conversation with them and tell them, yo, mimi naona hii space yenu ningetaka kufanya an event hapa, tunajaribu ku negotiate, tuone mara some restaurants watakubali that the agreement that you just bring people, they'll spend, because when I bring people, see what I spend. So sometimes wale wako reasonable watakubali hivyo, wakikutisha pesa kama unaweza afford kulipa hiyo venue, and you don't need to hatuhitaji sisi wote kukua in that big, kukua sisi wote celebrities. With a small, you can make a lot of money. You can have a regular gig where unafanya huko every Friday, every Thursday, even every Monday. Mimi nakumbuka nilikuwa naenda Black Diamond Sundays kuwatch Calabash Band. Calabash ilikuwa na kina sikumbuki wengine, but nakumbuka Wendy Kimani was there. And to me situ tunaenda huko kusikiza covers. Mnaenda every Sunday evening na mbogi yangu na wazee tunaenda hapo hivi tukunywa bia tukisikiliza covers. And it's because they really knew what they were doing and they did walimefanya vizuri. And the vibe was right. So it is possible to make money. Not necessarily be sisi wote tuko kama Diamond ule wa Tanzania ama GPDD, but you can survive. I believe in creating opportunities for as many people as possible. I've been hearing conversations in the industry and with people about efficiency, which makes perfect sense in terms of business. Like for example, mtu atasema, okay, now in order to be efficient, and there's a time that I'm gonna believe the same for a while, have a 3-piece band, like the way jazz inakuanga, drama, bassist, a keyboardist, ama drama, ama guitarist na keyboardist, alafu keyboardist anacheza bass on the keys. Very efficient, very clever way of thinking. However, that's not my way of thinking. Maybe I'm not so clever. Because I believe in creating opportunities. Mimi na feel if mtoto wangu nataka learn kucheza trumpet, alafu kila mtu anakuwa effective, huyu mtu atacheza wapi trumpet? Nowhere. Because atakuwa maybe anaweza kwa watakuwa nafinyana wote in like 5 orchestras in Nairobi. And there are too many. Doesn't make sense. And that's the situation of Nairobi. There's so many people who wanacheza trombone and enough trombone na all they can do is maybe teach. And the people who teach wanafanya maybe hao wanafundisha tu wanaenda inakuwa tu pastime for them. But what about the people who want to play? I believe in having a horn section. I believe in having a very big band. I believe in having dancers around me and dancing. I believe in giving a show. Na believe mtu akikuja anakuja ana watch performance na anabaki hapo akijiambia this is why I paid this money. So because of that I have a very big band. Band yangu at the moment ni we are 7 and we're adding a few more because on section yetu should have 4 people at the moment. We only have 2, I think 3 now. There's one coming through next week. So on section inafaa kuwa na 4 people. Then kuna percussionist. Hauwezi fanya chakacha music. Nimejaribu na iwork bila percussionist. Drama ni poa but percussionist analeta a vibe that nobody else can bring. So a percussionist and then a rhythm section. I play guitar but I don't like playing when I'm performing. So it's a big band. And I'll be honest, part of my brand, when I created Aliye as a brand, part of it is having, because I'm a live performer, nimesema enough times, mainly a live performer, is creating an experience for ule mtu anakuja kuwatch. Sitaki ule mtu amekuja kuniwatch anasema Aliye pale aliperform acoustic. Ilikuwa sawa. Then anakuja huko anapata Aliye hapa anacheza na watu wawili. No. As part of my brand I come with everybody. Always with everybody because the same way Meja anakuwa na tumbler yake kila mahali. Kama ameenda kwa place iko na nini, because it's part of the brand. The same way na mimi natembea na nini. I've seen Congolese music survive for years with the really big bands. In America, in many other places, very big bands. Even in Kenya, kitambo bands zilikuwa kubwa sana. And I believe we can bring that back so that we can create a proper experience for everybody. So in terms of my rate card, it's different. But mtu ajue kwamba because again depends on how long you want us to perform, depends on where, depends on cost zile nitakuwa nimeingiza because I need to pay everyone, I need to there's transportation, I need to feed everyone, they need to feed everyone, and also now my cut because I also need to be able to make things happen. Alafu pia rehearsal space, although rehearsal space wanga tumerusha hapo ndani, we only has so ni rate card si ndogo. And that's why unaona mimi nilisema Aliye is what we're going to be doing because if watu watatuita, we'll just organize our own show and we'll perform and we'll do our thing. So yeah, but not to discourage anybody. If you can come and tunaweza have conversation and then tutaona bora tu vitu tu zingiane, like me sisi hatuko against performances. As a musician, one of the things you need to realize as a musician worldwide, but especially in Nairobi, is that there will be long periods of droughts unless you're very, very lucky. or we are very lucky. And I think those periods are necessary. Because I don't think music is, even though we call it music business, but I think as an artist, you're not meant to be a business person. I think as an artist, you're meant to be, I believe that music and art is not, haitoki from the artist mwenyewe. I believe that art is, for example, this beautiful painting, it's in the air. And now, every artist, every creative, anapatiwa opportunity ya actualize through, or to express it through singing, through drawing, through everything, through songwriting and all. And so as an artist, it's not really your job to make money. A friend of mine anaitwa Kunta Kinte, anasemanga kitu, aliniambia, I think alikuwa na quote mtu anasema, whenever you start writing for money, sijuka hiyo quote nenda hivyo, but when you're thinking about money, when you start considering pesa ama kitu kama hiyo, when creating, God disappears. It's very interesting because ni kweli, yani the moment umeanza kufikiria okay sasa tuandike ngoma ndio kwa hit song, at that moment according to me pia God disappears, like the essence of God, because that is the same spirit that itaenda kwa watu wengine kufiliwa na everything, it disappears and it becomes now strictly technical, and when it's technical it's not art. To me it's not the best art. However, so for those musicians it's important to understand that yes, kuna hizo moments, and some moments kama mimi nimepitia zile. I remember there's a time ilikuwa before I got married, I was staying with a few friends of mine, na nilikuwa na zero na tuna have to contribute sijui how much per month rent, juu tunako kuniko exit ko live whatever, na kila sana nilikuwa tu broke. Kazi yangu tu niko hakuna hata place naenda. Sasa nyingine na have na job na sina hata bob ama sijui, yani I was so broke for months and months and months and months, and it was so embarrassing because can you imagine wewe ni msanii ule unaji value ati sasa umefanya sijui nini, and then you're just broke up, the rest of the people wanakuangalia wako like sasa ile life yako ni aina gani? But muziki ila pesa, hata I'm sure watoto wao kasema wanataka kufanya music, inaweza kuwa very difficult kukubali. But during those moments I believe you just have to realize that, and it's difficult, you just have to realize that consistency is what will give results. If there's anything that mimi kuja kurealize ni consistency. You do it, unaifanya because you never know, and then don't give up. There's a consistency challenge nilijaribu last year. Crazy. I'm such an idiot. Sometimes unajiangalia tunajiuliza mimi ni mjinga aje. So the idea was this: write a song and post every day for a whole year.
Just some lyrics, you singing?
Me singing. And post and playing guitar. And I did it for 73 days. No, kuna sasa place maybe na break alafu na have kuandika 2 songs. So then I lost my grandma now ilipofika hapo mwisho, and then for 2 weeks we had to singeza kushughulikia. So then suddenly Rudy ilikuwa like, man, I think I need 15 songs. That's impossible within a day, so that they catch up. But I will go back to that. I'll find a way of branding that and then doing it properly now, because now I have 73 songs, so zani kuendelea kutoka hapo. But consistency is doing things over and over. Sometimes it looks stupid. Ni kama mtu anaenda gym. Hata mimi sasa najua nikaingia gym sasa nikaanza kubeba, unabeba for the first few how many months, maybe itateka hata whole year before nianze kuona results. So but then eventually when the results start coming, you start feeling that all that was worth it. But I mean, there's no shortcut. Hakuna injection. There's no pill that unaweza meza that inaweza fanya that moment of feeling like you've reached an end, mwisho. There's no hakuna shortcut. Hakuna quick solution. You just have to go through it. You have to if you can, pray if you're religious. If not, look for ways za kujaribu kujituliza. Music is also a nice way of kujituliza, but never stop the grind. Process is the same for everyone. Just a few lucky ndo wanaweza kunini. Na pia, I mean, we are not all meant to be Beyonce. Si uongo. Sisi sote tunafaa kwa Sauti Sol au Nyash, unajua? Na tukijaribu sisi wote kuingia kwa meza kadogo ati tumevinyana sisi wote, haiwezi wako. Hiyo meza sasa watu watatoka kwa hiyo meza na waende kwa meza nyingine ile wako few. So as long as you're able to meet certain small targets, for example, labda leo IG ni yako, I mean nafaa kugrow IG page yangu, but kama IG page yako iko for example na 500 followers, najambia yo by the end of the week acha nifikishe 510. Hiyo wiki nyingine 520. Tu vitu tudogo. Maybe hata mtu atakuja kuuliza wewe doing nini? Mimi kazi yangu ni kuongeza Instagram followers. Sawa, it looks like a small thing but it's a small target, unajua. Then maybe unajiambia okay, now the next target is sasa tumefikisha hivi. Let me see if I can do a music video. Okay, sina do. Okay, what can I do? I have a nice phone. Okay, sawa, let me shoot. I remember talking to Erick pia years back and he showed me a video of a guy, a video that ilikuwa na millions of views, and it was just a guy dancing to a song, a European song, hata sijui wimbo ni gani, sijaisikia tena sijui on anywhere else, but it was a big song, and so he was just dancing kamzae fulani, hata si ameandika hiyo song or anything, and so alikuwa ananiambia kitu, and this is the nuggets nilikuwa na get from Erick. He just told me something. You see this, you don't need to spend a lot of money to shoot a video. Don't wait for the day utaweza kufanya kama the way yeye anafanya expensive camera, because to be honest, if you can't, you can't. Alikuwa ananiambia fake it till you make it. Erick was really nini. Mimi nakwambia Erick akona nuggets. Kama mtu anaweza pata access to Erick Wainaina, eduka na yeye kuongelesha nuggets after nuggets. Because alikuwa ananiambia, and it's true, work with what you have, because and I did. Nyani Rongai, the shoots tulichukua camera. I got my cousin's camera, ananisaidia sana. And then a friend of mine akasema atatushutia. We shot a video hivyo tu, then like on Monday nikaambia my bro, my sis in law, nikamwambia tunashoot video Thursday. Akasema sawa, twendeni. Tukaenda and we shot a video, and from then on nilikuwa like okay, why have I nimekuwa kingoja nini time yote, what have I been waiting for? And so the same for you. Maybe everything you need is right there with you, so use it. Small targets alafu I'll mention a few names because it's important. It's a good question. Being young in the industry, I can still consider myself as being young in the industry. 12 years ni relatively young. But being young in the industry and being a youth in the industry, it can have advantages. One, hakuna pressure compared to an established artist. Like I don't need kungara, I don't need to look really, really good, I don't need to go to fancy restaurants. I can be myself and just live life. Thank God that in Kenya hakuna hiyo superstar, paparazzi, sijui kufuatana nini, because even though it looks nice, I know that ina kill maisha za watu. I see footballers wale wanafuatana paparazzi, excuse me, and I see the way their lives inaharibika. Nikaona for example story ya Nelka and how it's so bad. So I'm glad that hata mimi sina pressure, hata ile minimum ya kufanya anything. Though the established artists also in Kenya, the ones I've worked with, also pia according to the way we interact now, most of them are just, I've interacted with Chris Adwar as a producer. He's a really cool, chilled guy. When I worked with him, ako willing, alikuwa na wakata kwa nyumba yake. And it was really nice. He's a very cool guy, to be honest. So his life, it's not extremely fancy. Like ako very chilled, unaingia kwa nyumba yako na feel comfortable because si ati una feel place iko nini. Erick the same. Erick is a very cool guy. I've worked with mtu kama Benjamin Kabaseke in terms of instrumentalists. Benjamin is one of the best guitarists in Kenya. Very humble. Mkika na yeye utapiga story mtafikiria hata labda mmekuwa mabeste for a long time. So but lifestyle yake obviously ni different. So for them the point wamefika ni, for most of them, they don't think too much about where does the money come from in terms of the daily. I think the only difference I see is that maybe hawa wanaangalia long term. So maybe wanaangalia okay, now I have this project until this time now, what's project to start huko baadaye. Unajua kama mimi sasa ni tutafute project au ni okay sasa ama tutafute pesa ya leo ama ya kesho ama ya next month. But for them I think that's it. But I also feel like the ones I've been around, I don't know about many, so wale najua sija interact sana na Frasha ndio maana sim mention, but wale nimekuwa around wengi tu in fact when you interact with them una realize most of them are down to earth. They are willing to give information. Even people who've been in the industry, like a friend of mine anaitwa Levi Wataka pia, very open to giving information, though maybe wako hivyo na mimi na wako hivyo na watu wengine, so but I don't know, sijui inaweza kuwa, but inaweza kuwa different na watu wengine, mtu anasikia anajiuliza ai what do you mean, but generally that's the differences mimi nimeona, that they have for a lot of them, because of being consistent, because of being in the industry for a long time, then they're able to create long-term projects or to work on long-term projects that are pre-planned. Unajua, when I did disco with Erick, and at that time when we were doing the media tour, I was his PA, so mimi nilikuwa napigia watu simu. It was very easy kupata nini, napigia the train, naambia okay, would like to come there on Friday. Yes. Mimi sasa ile nilikuwa peke yangu, nilikuwa unajaribu kupiga, unauliza huyu anakuambia sasa wewe ni nani. So it's not so in terms of that ni rahisi. So kama wewe ni, say for example release ngoma, it's so easy kupata hizo kuplan kuset hata media tour, kufanya like it's not difficult when you have a name there. But yeah, so it's on the differences now. I think all three of them are important, and all three of them have certain pros and cons. Being under a label, especially if it's like a 360 deal, although I don't think ziko nyingi. 360 inamaanisha ile wanakulipia lifestyle, wanakulipia production. Huku Kenya sijui kama Soul Generation wanafanya hivyo, but I'm not very sure. A lot of the deals are in publishing na recording na push. So it's good if it works, according to me. I'm not pro getting signed because I'm not very sure. I feel like but that's just me. So I feel like I like being in control. So I feel like kuachia mtu too much control. But it is so convenient. Very convenient, because a lot of the production costs they're taken care of, but you're able to do a lot more things, especially if the company values you na wanakuona as a project to push. Now if they don't value you and they don't see you as a project to push, it's a bit tricky. You'll have to work a lot, you'll have to mtashinda mkigongana now. But anyway, if you're able to sit down, if you have a strong arm to arm wrestle, which means you have leverage, then the conversation can be easier. Then you can come to a mutual agreement and decide on something. Now when it comes to getting a manager is very convenient as well, because the manager ndio maybe anaenda kukuongelelea huku nje, anafanya conversations na watu wengine, and you feel like okay sawa, I don't need to do the business parts. However, maybe the con is that a lot of people don't like dealing with people's managers. Hakuna mtu anapenda kudeal na manager mtu. Inakuwa necessary cost kwako, because huku nje watu watataka kudeal na manager, watu wanachoka na middleman, inakaa una deal na broker. So yeah, having a manager is convenient, but as long as people don't want to deal with the manager, then it becomes difficult. But it's also convenient. I think what you could do is, if I was to have a manager, I'd probably have the manager run the business part and not have the conversations, and then maybe alone, and then maybe having the conversations kama unaongea na event organizer ama kitu kama hiyo together, manager ndo anafanya follow up. So I think that's the ideal situation. Hiyo kwangu ni better than the other two. Now being by yourself nowadays is possible. In fact, because of distros kama kina DistroKid, CD Baby, Tunko, I'm not very sure Tunko ina work na individuals, but CD Baby na DistroKid, it becomes easy sasa to get your music on iTunes, Apple Music. Recently nimefanya hivyo. It's been too long, nilikuwa nafanya kitambo sana, but every time tuliweka tulikia, I don't know, avoid ama whatever. But yeah, So you can do a lot of things by yourself. You can. It's possible. But it's a lot of work. Mimi nimeifanya na naweza sema, wow, it is a lot of work. And resources, yeah. And sometimes, because you're an artist, it doesn't make sense to be the one who's doing the following up. Ati sasa mmeongea na mtu, when unaandika emails, when unafanya a lot of other things. And so for that reason, I am actually a big advocate for music education. I'm an advocate for, tunaenda kwa university, unapata watu wanafanya business management. Na kama unashow, okay now, yo guys, huko nje hakuna kazi. Mkienda kwa kampuni zote zimejaa. Kujeni now into the music industry. We need managers for artists. Now come, we'll do a short course that you will understand sasa vile music ina work, and then unajua kazi yako ni kushughulikia royalties za huyu, sijui unafanya hivi, unaongea na sales people. Mimi naona watu wanafanya in the music industry and sales. Mimi sasa nafanya events. Mazena realize sales ni important. Kupata watu wanaweza kukupushia content yako when you have an event kama mimi. How to get people to sell tickets to other people, to get new audiences, marketing and all. So doing it by yourself it's possible, but it's a lot of work. The ideal situation is having a label, because it kills off all that. But as I said, you still have to work if they don't give you priority. Getting a manager is good, but as long as you're there for most of the conversations, I think that's the best of the three. But you can do it by yourself. So as long as you feel hauwezi afford, hauna manager, but manager lazima ikuwe mtu una trust. Na ikuwe mtu anapenda music yako, na ikuwe mtu anakupenda. Like sikuwe mtu tu ule ati junior manager. Kama hapendi music yako na hakupendi, akuwa anapenda business na akuwa ameona opportunity ya ukweli kwako. Yeah, so basically that's it. In 2020, when COVID first struck, thankfully I had gotten equipment for a home studio. So, sele curfew ilikuwa 7, I could not have been happier. Nilikuwa watu wanalala by 9, watu wote wamelala. Yaani unasikia mtaa zimezimika. So silence and peace. So from 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. nilikuwa tu hapo na laptop yangu, microphone, mix, sound, whatever, and MIDI, sorry, is what I'm looking for. And I would compose, and I had a guitar. I'd compose and produce. And I was learning how to produce, watching videos, YouTube tutorials, learning a lot. Like 2020, I learned so much. That is when I fell in love with music. In 2020, COVID and then I fall in love with music. It's because of, nikama nili have now an opportunity kuwa one-on-one with music, and then having interaction, talking to music as a career. Tunaongea, tunaambiana, okay, music, wewe umekuwa ukiniangusha hizi siku zote. Inaniambia hapana, nimekuwa hapo na wewe, sijui nini, and then eventually we fell in love. But what I was saying is, that is when I fell in love, because I was able to express myself completely. I did songs, I did a mini album, an EP that is inaitwa Bedroom Album Collection, where I'd write songs. Nakuja tu naanza from scratch, I produce, write, record, and then shoot a simple video that I'll call a lyric video. So for example, nekasimu tu hapo najirecord nikiimba, ama naambia one of my people around me wanirecord nikifanya. But also, it got ilinifungua akili. In 2020, there's a show I used to run. It's called We Are Patriotic Live. Then I still went under the name Paton Juguna. So, and then my fans are called Patriots. So We Are Patriotic is the event that we did, is an event we had done a few years before in 2018. So now this is We Are Patriotic Live, is where every Friday I'd go live between 8:30 and 9. Oh, was it 9:30 and 10? Or something. Kituka hiyo ama 10. Kituka hiyo. I think ilikuwa after news, so 9:30, 10 up. So nilikuwa nachukua kamera hivi, kama hii. Na i-connect na laptop na OBS. So unajua OBS. Alafu nachukua simu. Nilikuwa na lights, floodlights. Nachukua simu. And then I go live on Facebook. I wasn't very active on Instagram then. So naenda live on Facebook. And then nakuwa na guitar. Initially ilikuwa mimi on guitar. Then there's a time I invited my band over and they came through. but ilikuwa na logistics mob, so hatukufanya nyingine pamoja. So nyingi nilikuwa nafanya guitar to a point ikafika that it became a show. So I'd come dressed up, kuna background nyingine hapo ilikuwa na wallpaper flani beautiful, ilikuwa kapoa, and then I'd have a screen hapo nyuma that was like a teleprompter, so laptop mbili, so moja iko na wazile nasoma, so ilikuwa full show. And then in the middle nilikuwa naeka advertisement, so naambia some of my friends wale wako na small businesses, mnataka nini business yenu, come through, you'll pay a certain amount of money, alafu unanipatia, and then we sell. I mean, we run your advertisement during the show. Like there's some technical issues, so nilikuwa na my wife's brother, Epsd IT specialist kama mimi, so tulikuwa tuna guess a lot of the things. So a lot of the times nakuja ina make mistake. Every Friday kuna fika nasikia kulia, because I know I have to do the show. Alafu nasikia uoga because najiuliza issue gani itatokea leo. Mara sijui because tume have kubuy bundles, juu wifi iko kwa very strong na ina need Safaricom ilikuwa much better. So inafika mahali credit inaisha. So ile imeshika vizuri, yani ilikuwa very funny. Ilikuwa na a lot of hitches, but to me it was a moment that I'll never forget, because I learned a lot. I realized that that's also an opportunity. That's before kuna kitu inaitwa Sessions Live, before I found out about Sessions Live. Sessions Live is more or less the same thing but done internationally. So yeah. So that was interesting. So but I learned a lot in 2020, 2021. So COVID for me, even though there was a lot of being broke, I had to get a job in 2021 to help my family out. Hiyo time tulikuwa tunafanya hizo shows, watu kadhaa walikuwa wananitumia do kidogo because nilikuwa nimekata number hapo, that wasn't enough to sustain anything. So yeah, so in 2020, 2021 nilikuwa nafanya some odd jobs mara moja, but basically it was tough. But the music, in terms of music, I have not grown as much as I did then. Oh, and then that's when I started that challenge here in 2021. And I started the challenge 365-day challenge. The power is with me. I have the power. Like I can do so much. I did not think that mimi ni a social media person until then. Nikaanza kujipata a lot of the times on social media, having to push some of the things that I was doing. I did not think that mimi I can host like a show. I realized, oh, I can as a host. And it's fun. I didn't know as a andika so much. Like even 365-day challenge, I know I can write, but I didn't know I could write daily. So I learned that about myself. So I learned a lot, but I realized that a lot of the power is with me. We held an event. In fact, I shot my video in 2020 of Nyaneronga. We held events during that COVID time, with small events though, with people, all any close people. But yeah, and there's one tulifanya outdoors, which was a big one when curfew ilikuwa 11. So just nearly realized that the power was with us. The power is with me all through. So I just need to grind and be consistent, and yeah. My first album was inspired 90%, because one of the songs was, 90% by my wife, who was then my girlfriend. So like only 3 songs ndo hazikuwa zimeandika, sikuwa nimeandika specifically for her. So when I was writing them, nikiziandika hazikuwa za kwenda kwa album, kwa tunamwandikia, naimba. So that was, najirekodia kwa simu, nazisikiza, nikioga nasikiza tu hiyo recording kwa simu, tule tukabambe tulikuwa na recording device. And all through, I've been inspired through relationships nimekuwa nazo. All through. Whether it's friendships. There's a song I wrote inaitwa I'll Find a Way in 2020. It was after having a conversation with a lady. I've never even met her face to face. We were just talking on Facebook. A lot of the time on Facebook. And we had real conversations, and I wrote the song I'll Find My Way. And it was really, to me, ilikuwa a step for me further mbele, because all through nimekuwa nikiandika songs about myself. At that moment nilikuwa inspired by yeye, and I was able to transmit what she was telling me because she was going through a lot at that time. And on top of it, I was able to also include my story in that. So it's a beautiful song. It goes like, there's a voice in my soul, and it's strong like a mountain. But the chorus is, I'll find my way, I'll find my way. It's a very beautiful song. Naipenda. I produced it myself. It's part of the Bedroom album collection. But love has been a big factor in my writing. It's been a big factor in what I do, even now that I'm married, everything. Some of the songs are inspired by true stories, a lot of them actually. As I get older, I learn kuandika songs just because. So naji-challenge, kama 365-day challenge, niko najambia, okay, let me try and write about something and then I write. But love has played a big part, even in terms of who I am. Now that I'm married, the decisions I make, I have 3 kids, by the way, 3 boys. So every decision has to be, I have to factor in. Then a lot of the money I earn has to go to the house. Like, hata kuinvest kwa music inanidingi, either niombe ama nikope ama nifanye nini from different places, because every money, all the money that I get inaingianga direct kwa nyumba. And it's not how businesses should run, but when your business ni kaduka kadogo kanaleta tu shilingi 2-3 na kwa nyumba inahitajika, I'm joking, I let 2-3, but nasema tu because at the end of the day there's no reason, there's no use of me kujiambia na run career and my kids at home wanna suffer, or my wife is there's a heavy load on my wife. So yeah, and I think also my wife has been a big part of my career, because even on the times when I was really broke, she was working, and so alikuwa anasaidia sana kwa kushikilia finances in the house. So yeah, so love has been a big part. In terms of life, as I mentioned at the beginning, I am a Catholic, and I'm in that group that was in it all the way, the neo-catechumenal way. And to me, it shaped a lot about me. In fact, part of the reason why I didn't throw myself 100% into the career, into music for a very long time, since, because nilianza nikiwa teenager. For all this, in my 20s, sijajirusha in the career. Because basically 20s imeisha. Saini for 30s, so saini naingia. It's because I was always very careful. I knew who I was. I knew that I'm weak. I get addicted to, okay, I'm not addicted to alcohol, but I can get addicted very easily to substance abuse. I can get easily influenced into throwing myself. I'm a kukubali every lady that throws themselves on me, because I know I'm weak. And so through life, through that particular group, I was able to understand pole who I am and make some decisions, like not being in certain places where I knew I needed to be, until the time was ready for me to be able to be there. When I felt that nobody co-influence you and that niko in my 30s with 3 kids and a wife, very difficult. Before sasa uanze kuniconvince ati tufanye something ile mimi na feel so comfortable. Now I feel I'm comfortable to even go in places where before I wasn't feeling comfortable. So even though it feels sometimes like it has been a slow journey, I know that it has been very steady, because some of the decisions I wasn't making, or I was making because I knew that I wasn't just looking at it from the point of nataka kuwa successful musician, because I'm not just a musician. I'm a husband first, I'm a brother, I'm a son to someone, I'm a father to others. So yeah, and in church I also have a few responsibilities. I am Aliye, and there's nothing as confusing as that, because I believe that everything that is in me comes from, not everything, but it comes from somewhere. Everything I know I have learned. There's nothing I came huku nikijua. Everything, hakuna kitu naweza brag, by the way. Everything ile najua I have learned from someone or from something. So there's nothing I can brag about. Even the creativity, sometimes I sit down and I look at the songs I've written and I'm like, this is not me. To be honest, hata kama naweza sema, well, I'm the one who put it down on paper and sang it out, it didn't come from me. And that's a realization I've come to, it's something I've come to realize now as I'm getting older. And that's why to me, Aliye is so big, because it also stands for, it represents not just existence but also God. And I'm not saying that I am God, but I believe that everything that comes off from me should be from God. And it's very difficult to ikikwa hivyo. Very, very difficult, because I know myself and I know that I want things to be done the way I want them to be done. As I mentioned at the beginning, my name is Aliye. I am Aliye. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Aliye the Man. Aliye is spelled as Aliye, Aliye the Man. On Facebook, it's Pato Njuguna. I don't know why it refused to change my name to Aliye, so it's Pato Aliye Njuguna, something like that. Kitu kama hiyo. I can't remember. But yeah, Pato Njuguna, if you search for Pato Njuguna, you will find me there on Facebook. LinkedIn pia Pato Njuguna, for those who are on LinkedIn. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram mostly and Facebook as well. So if you'd like to support me, if you'd like to be part of my journey, two things. Number one, you can come for my shows. Kujeni show, that's actually during my shows, you would experience the most. That's where you're going to experience Aliye as a performer. You can go on my on my Instagram and see some of the shows we've done before. You can follow me to get more information about the upcoming shows. You can go on my YouTube channel, which is, it used to be Pato Njuguna, but look for Aliye. Particularly, look for Aliye Nyani Yarongai, the video. Aliye Nyani Yarongai. Because now, since we changed it to Aliye, it needs to be, to search you enough times for it to come up as the first one. So when you look for Aliye, you won't find me directly. So look for Aliye and then Nyani Yarongai as a song. But other than that, you can come for my show. We have a show at the end of the month, July 30th, 2022. It's My Tribe, Your Tribe. But right now, what I'm pushing, other than that, come for that show because I need you there. But other than that, I have just released my second album, G2 Bila Mipaka. First part of it. 7 songs are out. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and any other digital streaming platform. Also, the second part of the album is almost out, and we will launch it, God willing, on November the 5th in Nairobi. Hopefully, location will be disclosed on my Instagram page and Facebook as well. So come through for my event on July 30th if you're able to, but follow me on IG to be able to get information on where I'll be next. For musicians first, don't give up. No matter how hard it may look, don't give up. And then we don't all need to eat from the same high table. Kila mtu anaweza kuwa na meza yake. We could all have our own tables and eat equally. There's enough for everyone, true. There's around 6 million people in Nairobi. I don't think they're even up to 100,000 artists. Like, tuseme, okay, maybe wamefika, but I don't think so. Wale wako serious na ati yao na wameamua it's full-time music. So, hawajafika. So 100,000. So even if you divide that, it means that watu wako na lots ya kukula. So just look for your small group of 100, 10, 50, 1,000, and then work with them. And that's the most important thing. I believe that's the solution. Also, if you have artist friends around you, support them. I don't think it makes sense because as artists kuitisha support from other artists na hatu support yani sisi wengine. So support each other. But now also to people who are not creatives, I think it's important also not to support because you have to support, but also because through support we grow our industry and we grow the whole economy, to be honest. And so also positive criticism is necessary, but let's be careful here because every creative akona fragile side, and it's very difficult to be mend something that has been broken. But nevertheless, doesn't mean that you have to walk on eggshells completely. It's important, but also let's support each other. If you need to support an artist, if you have the opportunity to help an artist out, if you have funding that you can help, if you have opportunities, kama uko na pesa na wewe ni promoter ama event organizer, call the artist and let the artist be the first person you're paying. Yeah, so that's that. Now, from me, I'd like to say that Aliye is a brand that stands for providing opportunities for many people. And I believe that in this industry of ours, we can really make it into a dream industry, like a place where so many people who come from different places in Africa, and I'm talking about Nairobi. So let's help each other to jaribu create a really, really strong industry through respecting each and every individual and giving them what is due to them. And also, everybody working hard. Si kwamba mtu anakaa tu alafu expect kupatiwa because watu wanapewa. Let's work hard. Hata mimi najua, sometimes I've been lazy. Sometimes I've felt like I'm tired of this industry, and I'm sure all of us tumepitia the same. But now it's time to work, and it's time to help each other, and hopefully we'll create an ideal and beautiful place, beautiful industry for ourselves. Now the third song nafanya, it's a new style of music that I'm trying to create. It's a new genre. It's a popachokacha. Now popachokacha is a fusion of pop sounds, the pop element. So the music is more, it's directed to popular people. It's like to the populace, to a lot of people. And then pacho is Nairobi. So it's a fusion of pop music and the Nairobi sound, and the Nairobi language as well. And then chakacha. Now chakacha is a style from East African coast, Mombasa, Dar es Salaam, chakacha na tarab, sindio? So chakacha is part of it pia, ni hiyo part ya mwisho ya popa chokacha. So most of the grooves popa chokacha ni sounding, so ni Swahili sounding. And so this particular song inaitwa Niamini. And it's a song niliandika about my country, Kenya, and I was very impressed. I'm very impressed by a lot of things in Kenya. However, this song is now part of the witty lyrics I was talking about earlier. So it's just me playing around with words and talking about my country. Hope you enjoy. Wape, wape, muziki wao wape, wape, walewe nayo wape, wape, waende nayo. Pam pam pararapa, nararara tararapa, pararapa, 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 pararapa. Naomba niseme neno moja kuhusu kwetu nyumbani. Naomba ninene tu kidogo kuhusu Kenya jamani. Wasichana ni warembo, wavulana ni matembo, wazee wana hekima, watoto kacha furaha, mbuga zetu zimejaa wanyama wote kabisa. Njoo muone huyu simba, ngoma akikatika, nyani wamepatana, hapa wacheze karata. Fisi amepika nyama, ale pamoja na mamba. Na kama uniamini, kama uniamini, kama uniamini, karibu Kenya ujione. Na kama uniamini, kama uniamini, na 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 na, kama uniamini, karibu karibu Kenya ujione. Pa 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 da 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 pa, pa da 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 pa da da pa, pa da 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 pa, pa da 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 pa da da pa, pa da 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 pa, pa da 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 pa da da. Wanasiasa sio waongo, huku hatutoi hongo, matatu tukipandanga, chinsi urudi shiwanga, zawa mama ukikanyanga, nyanya kwa bahati mbaya, hawawezi kutukana, watakupa msamaha. Mke wako akiwa tasa, umpeleke kwa pasta. Mtoto mtakayepata, ni wewe atafanana. Ukiangusha pesa kwa barabara ukitembea, ndugu yako aliye nyuma, yeye atakugokotea na kukuletea. Na kama uniamini, kama huniamini, kama uniamini, karibu Kenya ujione. Na kama uniamini, kama uniamini, na 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 na, kama uniamini, karibu Kenya ujione. Wape wape muziki wao, wape wape wale wenayo, wape wape